Hello, I'm Burton C. Bell,
And I'm DINO CAZARES.
and we are Fear Factory. We're on tour right now, direct support for Cold Chamber, and then we'll be headlining our own tour after that. Please come check us out if you can. We're playing new songs off the brand new album Genexus. Please check it out.
Also, go to fearfactory.com for all the tour dates, for all the merchandising, for all the updates of everything. Also, go to Bert's Twitter, my Twitter, Instagram, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. We're all there. So please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, so the first question is from Junior Michael. I heard you guys for the first time ever in the Mortal Kombat soundtrack. That one song, Zero Signal, literally changed my taste in music and my entire outlook on music. Is there any song or band that did that to you guys?
Wow. A lot. I mean, for me, it's like the 80s and the 90s pretty much. Anything that came out during that era was something that really influenced me. Everything from new wave to heavy metal to grindcore to death metal to industrial to alternative stuff. I mean, all that stuff pretty much. We liked it all.
I agree. To name one band for me is a little difficult, and because it just wouldn't be true. I mean, it was, in the mid '80s to the mid '90s, there's just like so many great bands coming out, and the older you get, and you hear something and you hear something else, you're just like, wow, that's great, that's great, that's great. And you take a little bit from everything, and and I bought those records when they came out, and I still listen to those records.
Well, me and Bert were roommates in probably like late 80s and for a few years in the 90s. And I used to work at a record store, so I used to bring home a lot of different music. So all that stuff really was a big melting pot of just.
And I worked in
everything.
record stores too, so you just bring in
video stores,
record stores,
clothing stores. Odd jobs here and there.
So, Dylan Simmons asks, out of all the Fear Factory songs you guys have created, which one means the most to you?
Ooh. Some difficult questions in there.
I mean, there's some memorable songs, musically and lyrically. It's like asking what's your favorite record, because each one is like a child that came out, and it describes a certain chapter of our life, individual lives, individual and as a group. So there's it marks different time periods and it's a different chapter. So each record, each song really holds different meaning, and to say one's better than the other is just, I can't do it.
No, I can't say one's better than the other, but there was one song that Bert wrote about me called Scapegoat. And it's about me. I got arrested a long time ago for something. I was falsely accused for something, and I just remember Bert writing lyrics, and that was cool.
Because I was there and I saw the whole thing go down. It was after a party, and he got wrongly accused, and just because of who he was and didn't have a lawyer, and he gets screwed in the system. All right, next. Mike Eddy asks, how, after all these years of playing all the kick-ass albums, do you stay completely true to your passions and the sound of your writing? Many bands have failed to deliver, never once for Fear Factory.
Thank you.
I wouldn't say that's entirely true. I mean, there's been some, there's been some records that have been different, namely Transgression was a record that was a different record, but the word transgression describes the record perfectly, because it was a transgression of what Fear Factory was always went up against, and there's you experiment and fail, you experiment and choose to do it, choose to succeed, but being passionate about what you do is the key to being a successful musician. If you don't choose to be passionate about it, then it's not real.
Correct. And I think that the motto for Fear Factory is always try everything. Try, nothing's stupid, you know what I mean? So you just try it, and again, like you said, sometimes you're successful at it, sometimes you're not, but one of the key things is not being afraid to fail. or not being afraid to try it. And I think that's always been our motto since day one.
Yeah. And if you're passionate about it, then it's real, because the fans know when you're faking it, and just like anybody else.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Jordan Terranova. How, after making so many albums, do you guys manage to make Genexus one of your best albums yet? I think the fact that we had enough time to work on it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a rush job. Got some outside help. You can teach an old dog new tricks, and just tried some new things, and worked with some old formulas, went with some new formulas, and just the fact that we have a new but old family behind us to get us going.
Monty Connor, Nuclear Blast.
Makes it makes a big difference when you have some people who believe in you and know what you can do, to be behind you and to push you, not to push you in a sense of time constraints, but to push you and it's like, hey man, we know what you can do.
Positive encouragement, and just taking our time and really letting the songs marinate. But also we did a few tours while we were making the record, so we were able to step away from it. And then coming back with some fresh ears definitely helped a lot.
Timothy Kaminsky asks, would you ever consider writing a film based on your long-standing futuristic man versus machine concept? Hell yes.
Always, yeah.
Always, Demanufacture was a soundtrack to a movie that was never written, and that's pretty much every record since then. Just takes the right person, the right someone with money to come in and it's like, hey, we believe in you, we want you to do this. So far that hasn't happened. But yes, I would do it for sure.
But we've seen movies that our soundtrack would fit, with it.
Tons of movies.
Yeah.
Cody Gnarly Phillips asks me, Burton C. Bell, what is your thought process when writing lyrics?
That was a gnarly question.
It's deep. Well, Cody, it's depending on the mood I'm in and what's going on and what I'm reading about. I've always been writing as long as I can remember, and you got to force yourself to write, but sometimes writing just kind of happens, and you just continue writing every day. And I write stuff down all the time, and sometimes I just put things together that were written in different pieces, or I sit down and start writing a whole piece as poetry, and which turns into lyrics, and and after that you just edit 1, edit 2, edit 3, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the writing process, it starts, you just sit down and you just write about what you're feeling and what you think about, and that's what it starts as.
I see some of the papers that he writes, and he's always got to write an idea down, and he's like, read this, and I'm like, well, what did you write? I can't read it, because he's wrote it so fast, so he doesn't lose the idea.
In the dark in my bunk.
What did you write?
So I think it's this.
What bands are we digging lately?
Seth Lipicki asks, what new bands are you digging lately, Dino?
Everything that's coming out on Nuclear Blast. I'm just kidding.
Not everything that's coming out on Nuclear Blast.
New Lamb of God came out. That was cool. Suicide Silence is going to be working on a new record. It's cool. I'm sure it's going to be great. I like a band called Born of Osiris that had some new stuff. It's been a couple years now, but
there's a band out of Chicago that I like called Czar. That's really good.
Industrial band.
Industrial grind kind of band. Author and Punisher's great.
Killer band. And our friends' bands, Once Human and The Bloodline, we're going to be doing a tour. They're going to be doing a tour with us coming up soon.
Once Human's actually a rather impressive band, actually. Impressive. And it's going to be, I'm interested to see how they're going to succeed. I think it's going to do pretty good.
I'm surprised Nuclear Blast didn't sign it. Put Monty on the spot. Put Monty on the spot. Turn the camera over.
Yeah, I'm sitting here with these guys. By the way, before when they asked why the record's so great, Due to A&R, that's what.
Monty, fist punch. All right.
All right, Billy.
Tommy Normand asks, what would you advise up-and-coming bands to do in terms of the business side of things?
Oof. Get a lawyer.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Get a good
First
lawyer.
thing, get a lawyer, yeah.
Get a good lawyer. One that you can trust.
An entertainment lawyer.
One that you feel that you can trust and that's on your side. That's it. Because, because you understand, you start a band, it's all fun and games, but once you make your first dollar, it's a business. And just understand that.
Yeah, you get the lawyer before you get a manager, because actually an entertainment lawyer can actually go out and find a contract for you, a record label, and stuff like that. So.
Shane Fowler asks me, after so many years, how do you keep your voice sounding the same as Genexus as it did on Obsolete? Well, it hasn't been easy.
A lot of tea.
A lot of tea. I've had to, I'm older. I'm 46 now. When I did Obsolete, I was 39. No, 29.
Yeah, I was like...
I was 29, so that's almost 2 decades ago. I'm older, so your voice changes as you get older. I've had to seek professional coaching. I've seen Melissa Cross. I've seen someone named
Rob. What's his name? Rob?
No, Talina Cuthbert in England, and I've seen Ron. The last one I've seen was Ron Anderson, who was coaching me and gave me some pointers and tips for the while we were doing the album and for live.
It made a big difference.
And it made a big difference. Over the years, you forget how to do things or how you were doing it, and just a little instruction to remind you of how to properly do it, because I was never properly taught how to sing or how to vocalize ever, and to get it later in life wasn't easy, but it was something I experimented with, and it really made a huge difference. So, not drinking beer, whiskey, smoking, that also helps. Cody Blue asks me, how do you practice for your choruses? Do you listen to classical or opera? Cody, I don't really practice for choruses. I grew up listening to all different types of music. I like a lot of melodic stuff. I like classical, yeah, I like some opera, but it's not something I go out and listen to. But I think it's just the style of music and the style of my voice and my personality that really drives the chorus. Because Dino's riffs are discordant in a lot of ways, and the tone of his guitars also are a big inspiration. It's not the type of music, but it's what I feel when I hear the guitar piece. And I don't know if that's the best way I can explain it. It evokes something from me. There's a chord that he hits that will strike a chord in me, and I, back in the day, I still do it. My voice is another instrument, and so that's how I use it.
And vice versa, because sometimes when he sings over stuff, we change the music, or his vocals will inspire, to change a piece in the music, a riff, or whether it's a bass line or drum line. Sometimes the music changes for him.
Kashif Hussein asks Dino, which contemporary artist would you say had an influence on your current sound? Would it be an artist? Would it be a
I wouldn't say necessarily
composer?
a contemporary artist for my current sound. I would say technology, just how the digital amplifiers have, profile amplifiers, how much they've gotten better. I'm using this new thing called the Kemper, so that really inspired me to go out and try to create this tone that what I thought would be fitting for this record. Actually, I kind of went back to an old JCM 800 Marshall that was modified by a guy named Mike Fortin, and I was able to profile it into a Kemper, and which is kind of a vintage mixed with a more digital tone mixed together, and I thought it was killer. The way it cut through on the album, it was fat, it was chunky. That's pretty much what inspired me, was technology, not necessarily a band or any other guitar tone from another band or nothing like that.
So James Edward asks, what is your favorite song to perform live? The first thought is demanufacture. It's just it's a crowd pleaser. It's got a chant in it that people love, and it gets the crowd going no matter where it is on the set.
South by Sister was one of my favorite songs for a long time. But right now it's Power Shifter. I don't know, Power Shifter, it rips live. And plus, we're doing the new songs as well, Soul Hacker and Dielectric. And just seeing the reaction that we're getting for the new record, it just, I don't know. I think
cool.
some of those are kind of turning into some of my favorite songs. It's kind of going back and forth. So
Some new classics. Robert Poole asks, what inspired the strong robot and mechanical themes? Well, just something that we were always into. You know, when Dino and I were roommates, we would watch all these sci-fi movies and apocalypse movies, and it's just, and Dino's riff is already a mechanical type of riff already. It has like this assembly line type of, repetitiveness, and it fits. And
kind of how all that started was just basically trying to copy the machine. For instance, a sampler, we really couldn't afford sampler.
No, we couldn't.
But we've heard how other artists sampled guitar riffs, and a lot of it was just constant loops. So for me, it was just trying to copy a loop, and so I would just play it that way, and that's kind of like created that feel, but it was kind of more of a person playing it rather than somebody sampling it. So
what was the saying years ago? Sample it, loop it, fuck it.
Yeah.
Drago Drax asks Dino, can you give us the secret recipe of your guitar sound?
I think I did. It's a modified JCM 800. Just again, modified JCM 800. Mike Fortin modified it. I was able to profile it into the Kemper, and then I used that for the tone on the record. So obviously a couple more tweaks on it, and it was amazing. So also my 7-string guitar, my Ibanez DCM 100 with the Retribution Seymour Duncan pickups, all played a big factor in the tone.
Good. Gabriel Oliveira asks, any plans for a new album in 2017? I love Genexus. Well, probably not 2017, but probably 2018. Because we do a record every 3 years, it seems like.
Well, we'll be on tour forever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're on tour probably
through the end of 2016.
Yeah.
So that's normal. You know, you put out a record and you tour for a year and a half to 2 years, depending on the popularity of the album and the popularity of the band. So, yeah, 2018, maybe 2019.
Yeah, we've been going to a lot of different countries that we haven't been to. So, Tel Aviv, we will be there.
Never been to Israel.
Yeah, we went to China. We went to India.
Going to Malaysia, Thailand this year.
Yeah, first time. So we got a lot of ground to cover before we consider doing a new record.
We just finished this one. Come on. Man.
Yeah, it just came out 3 days ago.
Were you already tired of it? Jeez. Greg Paternoster asks, are there any plans for future remix projects? No plans. We do remixes, but nothing to put out on like a standalone type of album.
Yeah, no plans. We haven't really talked about it, but who knows? Something could change in the next few weeks.
Robert Reeder asks, inspiration for the song Expiration Date, one of the best songs y'all have ever written. And it says y'all.
It was started out with just a little harmonic guitar line that I wrote, and then I wrote the bass line around it, and then we just kind of built the song around that. But lyrically, it's kind of basically the closer to the album.
Yeah, lyrically, it's
the concept.
Lyrically, it's based upon what we are. If man and machine have become one, but under the surface, we're all still human, even though we're treated like machines. Even in our daily lives, we're treated like machines. We're treated like a drone working in the environment for the system, for the man, for the machine. But when it comes down to the surface, under the surface, we are machines. And I was trying to think of what Roy Batty would feel from Blade Runner, and that was part of the inspiration. Sergio Guerra to Dino. Did the outro of Zero Signal inspire the outro of Autonomous Combat System? They sound very similar.
I think it's just that we have so many songs. I think it's like 300 songs.
Is that
Something, I don't know how many songs. We have a lot. 200 maybe? 150? Whatever. We have a lot of songs. It's just sometimes something that might sound similar.
Ask Sean Glass, he's the metal encyclopedia. You guys have exactly 158
Monty
songs.
Connor, how many songs do we have?
Well, figure 12 songs a record. How many records?
9.
Yeah, but then you got remixes and all kinds
Alright,
of
so
stuff.
wait, 9 times 12, that's 90. It's 108. Add in all the rest, 120.
So we have 120 songs. Something's going to sound similar somewhere down the line.
There you go.
And it to sound like Zero Signal is not a bad thing. It's a cool riff.
All right. Aaron Bowen, any chance of a pro shot full show live DVD anytime? Monty.
Well, since music DVDs don't sell anymore, like,
No.
probably not.
Yeah, why is that?
There's no stores to buy them in.
Well,
And
we do
kids
have.
would rather go on YouTube and watch it for free.
Well, we do have
Or sell
our.
it to Netflix. You know, Netflix does it, or Palladium plays stuff like that.
We do have our YouTube channel, the Fear Factor YouTube channel, where you can go and see a lot of behind-the-scenes footage. Basically, our day-to-day life on the road, what we do, shows,
But I think
just all kinds of stuff.
it's like a pro shot, live concert. It doesn't matter if it's DVD. I don't know, man.
Pro shot, I don't know.
Do you want to do it?
Do you want us to do it?
Are you a director? Francesco Mario Salvadeo asks, do you plan to do more songs for upcoming movies and video games?
Monty?
Well, if,
No.
if they ask us, mostly you write the song and then they pick it up through publishers. It's like, oh, this song works, and they pick it up, and only a couple times we specifically wrote for a video game. I think twice.
Yeah.
And but they don't even do that anymore. That's too much money. Andrew Johnson asks, "Hey Burton and Dino, to you guys, what is the best mindset towards learning heavy rhythm and leads as well as vocals? General, not one specific style of vocals." Just play what you want to play, man. if you want to, if heavy music's in you, then it'll come out. If it's not, then maybe you should try writing something else. And vocally, I write about what I believe in and what I truly am passionate about. So vocally, that's what comes out.
Also, what calls for the part.
What calls
you
for
hear
the
the
part.
riff and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's inspiration on a team level. I don't know. Andrew, do you have someone you're writing with? Maybe we could discuss it with them. Josh Bond. I know Dino wasn't on Archetype, but any chance of Cyber Waste ever being played live again? We played it live.
Yeah, we played it in Europe and Australia.
A couple times, a few times.
We played it on an Australian tour, all of it, and we played it on some European
Yeah.
shows. We also played the song Archetype as well.
Yeah, there you go. We have. Michael King. Burton, do you ever plan on retiring in the future? You want me to quit already? Are you sick of me already? No, I have no plans to retire. I will constantly be an artist, and that I don't have to retire from.
Same here.
Lee Carpusi asks, most of your albums end with a ballad. Expiration date is the ballad on this one. How does it stand up to the ending tracks on all your other albums?
I think it has just as much passion as Timelessness, Resurrection, A Therapy for Pain, Final Exit. It's right on par with those, with the passion level, and you can really hear Bert's passion when he sings it.
And the fact that it's a different style, every ending track has always been a little different.
Yeah.
On every record, it's different. Yes, it's always the slowest song on the record, but it's always different. And we've experimented with a different beat on this one.
Yeah.
And it worked, and it came out killer. I think it stands alone. Like all the other ones. You can't really compare them to all the other ones. I mean, it's nothing like them. And each ending track on every record is is an individual in its own way. There's not just one person for this question, but many fans have commented on this album how it really sounds like a Fear Factory record. It's like the same old formula. They really didn't experiment with the formula or the sound, and basically saying that it's just the same old thing over and over again. And our answer is that we have experimented with sound before, and I mentioned the album already. Transgression was an experiment of sound, trying to do something different. And when we did that, we alienated an entire audience. And when you alienate the audience, or if the audience doesn't recognize you immediately, then they don't know who it is. It's important that a band experiments, takes new things in to blend in with the music, to enhance, not to change. Because if you change your identity, your fans are not going to recognize you. And this record, just like any other Fear Factory, most of the Fear Factory records, you hear it, you know it's a Fear Factory record, and that's what's important. If you like what you've heard off Genexus, we're playing 2 new songs. If you're coming to the shows, we're playing 2 new songs. It's important that you support your favorite artists. Because if you do not support your favorite artist, there's no way your favorite artist will be able to survive. We exist because of your support, so please continue your support.
We don't want to see live music become obsolete.